And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym in the Crypto episode 1131. Today is Friday, August 11, 2023, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Today's top stories: XRP market cap momentarily zoomed to trillions of dollars on Gemini. Congresswoman Maxine Waters says she's deeply concerned about PayPal's new stablecoin. Telegram trading bots are hot, but don't trust them for custody, security firms say. SEC announces $24 million settlement for a case against Bittrex and his former CEO, and no fucking way, says Joe Rogan, and Post Malone slams U.S. government over the CBDC. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. All right, Bitcoin is coming in still sideways movement, $29,457, down 0.7%. Ethereum's at $1,851, down 0.52%. Ripple at number 5 at 63 cents, down 0.5%. Number 9, Solana at 24.62, down 0.77%. And Tron at number 10 at 7 cents, down 0.58%. Trending tokens are Pepe down 1.17%, Shinu up 0.32%, and WorldCoin up 0.39%. And the Fear and Greed Index has returned to a 51. So still 50-50 on that. Bitcoin dominance at 48.8% and Ethereum at 18.9%. So those are your prices on these tokens of today. All right, really quick, some shout outs going on. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I see you all in the chat. Todd, Mac, Humney, BK Crypto, Holloway, Goodness, Woe Be Easy, Truth Beliefs, Eric, Dub, Proof, Jaron, Puretow. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is a Fuck Bitcoin Friday. So the link to the chat is in the or the link to the show is in the chat. So if we got something wrong, you want to share your favorite shitcoin, whatever it is, feel free to call in. Yes, you know it. Goodness is saying wash traded prices. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I was going yesterday, folks. The news cycle was super slow yesterday, and it's super slow today. I had to dig around and find some interesting stories, but here are a few to keep us interested on what's going on in this market. First and foremost, you might have seen it, might even heard about it, but XRP's market cap momentarily zoomed to trillions of dollars on Gemini. Looks like low liquidity after the token's relisting is what likely caused a temporary pricing glitch on the exchange. This is something we've talked about before when we talk about flash crashes or flash pumps for that matter as well. It does happen on these exchanges sometimes with some of the more popular coins. It even happens with Bitcoin sometimes. On certain exchanges, you see Bitcoin. Let's say today's at 29,000, it might flash crash to 17K on the exchange, or it might pump flash pump to like 40K really quick on exchange. This sometimes happens in a matter of seconds, matter of minutes. It does not last long, and usually the market makers correct it. The exchanges, everyone corrects it. It's usually a glitch or an algorithmic mess up in the system somewhere. So essentially, that's what looks like what happened right here with XRP. But again, that's why for the people who do keep nominal amounts of capital on the exchange, sometimes they do things like put in outrageous buy or sell orders where it's like, well, I'm selling if any Bitcoin hits 90K, I have it on a sell order already for some people, and then vice versa. Some people are saying if Bitcoin hits 10K, I already have 3 Bitcoin on the sell order. So again, you are being risky by keeping your capital on the exchange to begin with, right? But on the flip side, is like if one of these flash crashes or flash pumps happen, you are greatly rewarded, and that's what it looks like may have happened here in this story. Temporarily surged to $50 on crypto exchange Gemini out of all the other ones. I mean, pretty incredible for it to be an exchange of this size and this notoriety. It wasn't like just some one we rarely hear of. It rocketed the token's market cap to trillions of dollars for only a few minutes. Prices shot up to those levels for a few minutes at 20:30 p.m. UTC on Thursday before immediately reverting to parity with the spot markets on other exchanges. The bump, which took a few seconds to correct, was the result of low liquidity in the hours following a token relisting on Gemini, during which a buyer may have placed an outsized market order, which was filled at an outrageously high price. And you can actually see some of that pump happen right here. Incredible pump. I mean, again, you can see it started happening around 10:30, 11 p.m., all the way up until about 9:30 a.m. as well. So a lot of volatility in that price action when I guess it just got relisted there. Looks like some market observers opined a seller placed a spoof order at $50 per XRP, which was unintendedly filled by a buyer who may have fat fingered the trade. Again, this is something popular at this time of the night as well, folks. You're talking trading from 10:30, 11 p.m. to like 9 a.m. It's overnight. A lot of mistakes happen. I've done before. I've talked to many people who've done it. When you accidentally try and do like maybe a $5 trade, you do a $50 trade, right? You're doing a $50 trade, you do a $500 trade. Like these things do happen. They have happened in the past. I think they happen a lot less these days as people know to pay like super attention to every order. But I'm guilty of doing this myself. I mean, I can't remember what the numbers were, but it's been about 2 or 3 times when it's been like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning ish here, 1 in the morning, I'm doing trades or whatever. And then I'm just like, oh my God, like what did I just do? Like either usually I don't mess up too much, but anything I usually buy less of what I mean to. So if I'm trying to buy 100 tokens of something, sometimes I might like only buy 75 because of the market price and some of the indicators I shifted didn't fulfill a full 100 order. So usually I'll turn on my computer or I'll walk away. I'll come back an hour or some time later. I'm like, wait, why do I only have 75 instead of 100? And I'm going through everything and it's like, did I only buy 75? And it's like, oh, I guess at the price point I put it at, you know, and how much capital I had, I guess I only did buy 75 instead of 100. So I've done that. I've seen it happen. I understand. But again, this is one of those things where you got to be careful because, I mean, a $50 token price versus what is it, a 60-cent one right now, 65-cent one. That is a huge difference. So it does look like the liquidity on Gemini remains relatively low. I do think that's going to change. Like every day, they'll get more liquidity for XRP. They're saying right now only $37,000 order is required to move prices by 2% on exchange. In contrast, the same move on Binance will require at least $2.2 million. Now, to be fair, Binance does serve a lot more clients than Gemini. I'm not saying that the monetary value is higher, but they definitely have clients, which could, of course, increase the volume and the monetary value. So that could be one thing. Also, they've already relisted it, where Gemini is just now relisting it in the depths of the night. So not a lot of people know about it. So again, these are some of the things I think can correct. There's no way a token as popular as XRP for the foreseeable future will be able to be moved 2% with just 37K. So I think this is going to be isolated to probably about the next week or so. But as, again, people start to realize XRP is back on Gemini, and then when they actually start promoting it too, as far as, hey, you can do your staking savings and doing all this in XRP, once they start promoting that, I think we'll start to see that actually change as well. But until then, this is one of those very interesting situations. Yeah, Hominy said this was just one of those never could have seen it happen situations. Exactly. Like the only way you can see this happen is literally if you take the top 10 or 15 tokens and then assume that each one of them will eventually have some type of flash crash or flash pump within his lifetime. That I can say we could see happen, right? Something as volatile as that. But just to see XRP out, everybody doing it on one random day off the relisting, I didn't see it happen. But one thing that we can keep in mind is that if we ever do see other tokens go through this process where for whatever reason they're delisted, right? They're security or they're being called to security, or maybe there's some fraudulent stuff going on. Maybe the algorithm is having issues and we see it get delisted, but it's still popular. We now know when they get relisted, hey, even if you miss buying in at that low price point when it's first relisted, I think Ripple was at like 25, 30 cents or whatever. It's like no worries, no fear. You still have opportunity to say put a few dollars down on that exchange or whatever, and then plan for a flash crash or a flash pump, depending on which exchange listed and not listed. So, I mean, it could be someone's strategy. Who knows? But again, they go from 67% to $50. I mean, that is huge. And goodness said that's why all these paper Bitcoins are a problem. They're all worthless paper tokens. I agree with you. And yeah, that is the issue. I mean, it's only going to proliferate as we get Bitcoin ETFs along with these futures and whatever else they can pull out of the hat and think of. Yeah, like this will be the problem. One day they'll be saying Bitcoin's worth 80K, but in reality, the buys haven't amounted to 80K, right? It'll be worth less than that. And then once the settlement goes through on the day or the week or whatever, and the price returns to what it actually should be, I think people are going to see like, oh man, like I may or may not have been duped depending on when you got in on that price. So yeah, that is something to consider. All right, Congress is in the news. People, this is what I always say about projects. Whenever you're telling me about your next best project that's going to lead the world, I'm like, it hasn't even hit the top five. And top five, again, is important to me because it brings, or I'm really top 10, but it really happens in top five, onslaught of new issues, which includes scaling. You know, you got to figure out how to scale the project. Usually once it hits the top five, as notoriety brings volume. Hackers, you have to figure out how to defend that project now, because at first no one knew about, but now that everyone knows about, they're going to try to hack it and get in peace. And third, you know, not any order of importance, but it's the regulatory environment. Normally, once you get to the top five, all of a sudden regulators like, oh, we got new money. We got a new player on the board, game time. So to me, PayPal USD essentially just did that, right? They've essentially just shot up to the top 5 or 10 by announcing a company of that size will be now adding a stablecoin, right? You know, they shot to the top 5 because of the regulator attention they literally got overnight. That is right, Congresswoman, none other than Maxine Waters, who's staring at everybody's pockets, says she's deeply concerned about PayPal's new stablecoin. Can you believe this? I mean, all the dirt these people do, and here they come with the protector thing. We're deeply concerned. Like, PayPal's new stablecoin is this. I mean, we're not concerned about murderers and rapists in the United States. We're not concerned about pedophiles. We're not concerned about giving billions of our dollars to foreign aid and we lose track of it. We're deeply concerned about a technologies company, new technology. That's right. The top Democrat on the House Financial Service Committee said federal rules should be in place before a company the size of PayPal issues a stablecoin. What did I tell you, people? This has nothing to do with protection. This has nothing to do with anything besides being a gang and saying, hey, how did that big company launch a stablecoin? Why and how is this fair? You need to tell me how this is not fair. A private company, an American company, decided to launch stablecoin. I'm not understanding what the issue is. Oh, they're too big. You can't control them the same way you can control a king, or you can control one of these crypto warriors or one of these smaller crypto prizes. Where all you have to do is throw the SEC on their backs. And I was, no. Now a company said, fine, we'll play by your rules. We'll do it the regulated way. We won't do a security. We'll do a stable coin. And oh, by the way, we're the size of a fucking large United States state as far as customer volume go. Try to stop us. Now it goes straight to the federal committees, and here they are. We might want to talk before we allow them to do this. When did this happen to where this democracy we live in has people voted on and appointed by U.S. citizens tell us what we're going and not going to do literally day or day two after we decide to do it? When we're talking about innovative new technologies, there hasn't been a new election, there hasn't been a new vote. These are literally just people pocket watching other people's money, saying, I don't think we should allow them to do it. And they literally have the power to do it because where we're at in our society is no one's questioning anything. You just literally tell the police, a federal regulated agency, PayPal's not allowed to do that. The police and these federal regulated agencies never question it and say, well, why not? They're American. They're not, this isn't a security. They're not doing anything illegal. Why not? Instead, they just say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Politicians, regulators, you told us to go get them. We're going to go get them. And these people will be kidnapped and brought under charges. But seriously, this makes no sense. With the exception that it does make sense. This is the same move they pulled on Mark Zuckerberg with Libre when they were at Facebook and they said they were going to launch a Libre stablecoin or whatever. It was a huge pushback. If you remember, he had a Senate hearing and all this other stuff, and they were going after him. What's the difference between a Finsta and a Facebook? And he's just laughing and answering questions. He's like, you guys aren't even asking me questions that make sense in relation to Libre, whatever token they were going to do. But again, this is history repeating itself. We just saw it happen. Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat out of California, who wants everybody money, released a statement Wednesday saying she's deeply concerned that PayPal has chosen to launch its own stablecoin while there is no federal framework for regulation, oversight, and enforcement of these assets. So whose fault is that? There's no oversight, regulation, and enforcement on how to hunt and eat. Do we not eat anymore? Do we say, well, we're just going to starve? We're literally going to starve and be hungry until the federal government tells us the best methods and practices of hunting, of cleaning food, of putting it in grocery stores and eating. Would we wait for the government to do that? Or will we just establish it on our own as the population, create our own rules, which is also known as self-regulation, and then informally go about ways to hunt, clean food, create grocery stores, and eat? Like, I think we're forgetting like what came first, the chicken or the egg, when it comes to government and the people. Government, like the people don't come after a government. You don't get a group of people and start a government and then say, all right, now we're gonna have a bunch of babies, and we're gonna adopt a bunch of people, and we're gonna create all of these new people with our government. It doesn't work like that. You have people first, right? You have people first, they're living in informal ways, and then formally they create a government to say, hey, let's stop living so informal so we don't know what's allowed at the grocery store. We don't know what knives and guns we're using to hunt with that could pierce through that skin or hide and hit someone behind it. Like those practices come after the people are there doing things. So I say the same to this. We shouldn't have government before we have people in the practices here in crypto. And that's what's happening. Right now, Facebook tried it with Libre, then following up, PayPal's trying with their stablecoin. But just because the government couldn't do their stablecoin first with the Fed Now program and everything else, they're saying, well, we need to pump the brakes. We need to stop everything, and we need to have regulation before you create. That is not the way government works. They're not here to stop and create frameworks as you create. You're supposed to create first, have a bunch of stuff, have these markets, which crypto essentially did. If you remember, it was for criminals, it was fake, it wasn't real, and then it couldn't be stopped. And then Bitcoin ballooned, and the market came, and people came, and now the government is retroactively going back. That's what they do for everything. So for Maxine Walters to really come out and say, wow, they're doing this first and it's innovative, we need to stop them and actually regulate before, like, come on, this is ridiculous. And no one in America is questioning this gangster thug behavior by our government. This is thug behavior by our government if I've ever seen it. But again, they're talking about PayPal, PYPL, which introduces new dollar-backed stablecoin. You know what? Hand clap and shout out to PayPal, because Mark Zuckerberg could have done this and been one of the most powerful people in the United States and the planet. I mean, like you think he's powerful now. He's not really powerful now. Like he has a lot of money right now and he has resources to make moves. But we've already seen from one Senate hearing, his resources can be restricted by the government. So I won't say powerful. If he would have launched Libre and actually had that stable coin under Facebook and had 1.5, 1.7 billion users, he would have been powerful. Now he would have had almost 2 billion people. Let's just off the top of my head say he would have had 28% of the world's population under his own economy. That would have been power. But instead, he got scared off a couple of Congress and Senate hearings, tucked tail, changed his name, and said, we're just going to do metaverse. PayPal actually said, you know what? We're not even going to make announcements. We're not going to roll it out. We're just going to, bam, it's here. And that's what they did. And here they are. And the government is saying, what the fuck did you all just do to us? I can tell you right now, when it comes to the gang, PayPal is not in the gang's good eyes. The United States probably are not being very friendly with PayPal, nor have they ever really been. If you remember, PayPal, when it first came out, it was a disruptor as far as online payments. So the government has never really been in their pocket. It was probably was the impetus for them to say, let's go ahead and do it anyway. We know how this is going to play out. The government won't be our friend. They're going to come after us. So at least let us have a product out before they come after us. I think this is a great business move by them. As far as Maxine Waters and the rest of the Democrats and the House Financial Service, like at this point, they're just robbing Americans. They're robbing Americans. And hilarious what they're actually coming up with as far as the reason why. Given PayPal's size and reach, federal oversight and enforcement of its stablecoin operations is essential in order to guarantee consumer protections and alleviate financial stability concerns. There we go. Consumer protections. I mean, I gotta love it. It's literally like how mafias and gangs of back in the day would just roll up to you and say, you know, it'd be a shame if something happened to this store. Something even happened to you. You might want to pay us to make sure that doesn't happen. Why? Because we protect this neighborhood. This is what the government is doing. What protection do we need from a new company with a new innovative product that the United States has never seen? We don't know what could go right or wrong. So what are you protecting? So how does this work? Let me guess. Consumer protections are needed. You get all the Americans on board. You get PayPal on board. What's the cost, Maxine? I'd rather Maxine Waters just come out and don't say consumer protection. Just say you need X amount of dollars to operate, because that's what we're talking about. How much does this consumer protection cost, and exactly what does it do? I mean, like, come, aren't you all tired of reading, like hearing the same? So this is why I'm going to have the time. We're still talking about consumer protections for crypto products in 2023. This is the oldest trick in the book. When does it stop? It doesn't stop. The gang is stronger than ever. And they literally have the gumption to go after companies like PayPal, who are just launching stablecoins. So again, it's unfortunate to see. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this to Sopranos. It was Sopranos episode. Sopranos tries to what was it called? Extort. There we go. Starbucks or something, I think it was. There we go. We gotta watch. It's only a minute and 38. This is probably about to jack up my what you call it, but to me right now, like the government again is the gang, so they're gonna be the Sopranos in this episode. And the crypto market and every other market in general is this Starbucks store. They're like, bro, like it's nothing to extort. Like this, what is wrong with y'all right now? Let's go ahead and see if we can check this out.
Manager Dale.
Manager Dale. Welcome to the neighborhood. So this is essentially not just the Democrats, Republicans are super guilty of this as well when it comes to funding wars and everything. So let's just say politicians and regulators. These are the politicians and regulators welcoming PayPal to the neighborhood. PayPal said, hey, you know what? We just launched something, this new stable coin. I got to do the whole thing where you make like the little marks and stuff on the video. Somebody do that for me. But yeah, so PayPal's the manager Dale. He just launches a stable coin. And here comes the House Financial Services Committee. Welcome them to the neighborhood.
We're from the North Ward Merchants Protective Cooperative.
They're from the House Financial Services Committee. All right,
What kind of business you guys looking for a donation?
Exactly. PayPal's like, yo, we launching a product right now. You guys need some stable coins? What's going on here?
You may have noticed, not to denigrate anyone, but this is a transitional neighborhood.
This is Maxine Waters, not to denigrate anyone, but we used to have banks and institutions. We understand this is a transition we're going through. This is a transitional economy we're going through.
Demographically speaking, you still have a lot of marginal types.
I mean, demographically speaking, these marginal types are these crypto companies, right? They're not a lot, but they are starting to pop up for sure.
And we merchants have found you really should have some round-the-clock security here.
Yeah, House Financial Services Committee, Maxine, those are the merchants. They found that these new crypto companies, these marginal types, you really should have some type of protection. I mean, are you just out here going against the banks by yourself?
What the police are for?
Yeah, wait. Protection. What protection? We got let's see, we got the SEC, we got the CFTC, we got the FBI, we got the CIA, we got the NSA, like cybersecurity teams, we got police, like Maxine Waters, Democrats, regulators, politicians. What additional protection do we need? What are you talking about?
They do their best, but they got their hands full.
Oh, they got their hands full.
Your weekly dues to us will give you all the supplemental safety net you'll ever need.
Oh, okay. So PayPal. Actually, if you just pay Maxine Waters and the Democrats and the House Financial Services Committee, they can pretty much guarantee that weekly, monthly payment will be the safety net PayPal needs. Like, do you all really hear this? Maxine Waters and the House Financial Services Committee is saying for consumer protection, they need to bring PayPal under the fold. They're too big to do this on their own. And like, what does this mean? Do they just give you money and then all of a sudden they're secure? How does this work?
I can't authorize anything like that. It'd have to go through corporate in Seattle.
Yeah, PayPal is like, whoa. Pay you? But wait. We can't authorize that. First, we're paying the House Financial Services Committee, then we're paying IRS, then we're paying the FBI. Then listen, y'all gotta go through PayPal headquarters. All right, you're just coming after some measly little franchises here.
Prefer to deal on a personal one-on-one basis.
I don't have any discretionary funds. It's got to go through corporate.
And that's the thing. PayPal just launched a stable coin. Where are they supposed to have extra money to give the government? All right, marketing, capital, just in case the project falls. Compliance, HR, they have to pay these people. They're just supposed to have just extra money hanging around. Come on, Maxine, what are we doing?
For the sake of argument, someone threw a brick through your window.
They've got like 10,000 stores in North America. I don't think they fill anything.
And this is the part the government is missing. They're like, how do you think the crypto, the crypto enthusiasts are going to feel if PayPal stablecoin can't work anymore? PayPal's like, there's just going to be another stablecoin company. Meta tried it last year. You guys said no. Like, there'll just be other companies. Fine, you don't want Americans to do it. There'll be foreign companies. Like, the ball's rolling. The technology here is nothing is stopping it anymore. So for the government to keep going after one company, the next CEO, the next CEO is like, you'll be doing this for forever, which I'm sure they don't mind, because I think Maxine Waters is already in her 70s and 80s and still taking people money with a straight face. So I'm sure they can do it forever.
What if, God forbid, it wasn't just vandalism? What if an employee, even the managers say, was assaulted?
Look, every last fucking coffee bean is in the computer and has to be accounted for.
Boom. It's in the computer and it has to be accounted for. I just want to put that part on there. Why? Because we're talking about a digital revolution, and we're still trying to use laws and stuff from the 40s. Government's still trying to get their piece of the pie. They do not understand using blockchain technology. As long as we're using real blockchains, which is probably why the government has, for the most part, said hands off Bitcoin. They know they can't steal from it. They know if they do some weird shit where it's like, fine, Bitcoiners have to give X amount of dollars to the government and whatever. We're going to look at the blockchain all day and trace that money. We're going to see where every last penny go. And they don't even want that. They're like, you know what? We rather go after the easier marks. Who are the easier marks? The XRPs of the world, the PayPals of the world, the Metas of the world. Anyone with a CEO and something to lose, they'll go after. But what they're not understanding is that as you start to dig into their money, in their pocketbooks, and so on and so forth, this will be recorded for the first time in human history. The government won't just have all these payments go out the door and we not understand how much or who paid it and when it was actually paid.
The numbers don't add up, I'll be gone and somebody else will be here.
If the numbers don't add up, the crypto project will be gone and another crypto project will be here. You can't just lean on these projects no more. Unfortunately, the Sopranos, the mobsters, they figured that things weren't the same and they left, but our government isn't getting the hint. So hopefully they can one day get the hint. I don't know, man. This is crazy. It's over for the little guy politicians and regulators. It's over, all right? You stealing money on behalf of consumer protection is over. We got to stop this madness. I agree. Todd said all government spending should be on chain. This is what I'm saying. Seriously, people. This is what I'm saying. And this is the shit that gets people killed. For Maxine Waters, for her to want consumer protection for PayPal, I say fine. I don't even want to fight them anymore. We're not going to win against this gang. Don't fight them. Everything on chain then. Everything. SEC, you want your extra $2.4 billion? Cool. On chain. We want to see where it goes. You need $500 billion for defense spending? Cool. On chain. We want to see where it goes. You need 35% taxes in California. Fine. I want to see where it goes, because right now in Los Angeles, the roads are shitty and there's probably just as many people living outside as there are people living inside in some places. So I just want to see where the taxes go. On chain, on chain, on chain. Goodness said government spending can't be on chain. You'll bloat the chain. I disagree. Two things. First, doesn't mean we have to use one chain only. You can use multiple blockchains if need be. For more serious things, we use the better, more serious blockchains. For more frivolous things, we can use the more frivolous blockchains. B, it goes back to scaling. No, I disagree. I don't think it'll be bloated. All it takes is scaling. And if you're talking about putting an entire industry on it, there's no reason why a bunch of brilliant minds can't be put together to fix the scaling issues. It's been fixed before. We can fix again. There will always be a scaling issue. Let's make sure we're clear here. Just like there's always a memory issue. Every time you get a new laptop, a new phone, or whatever, it's not enough memory. It's like, bro, your phone 4 or 5 years ago had 1/4 of that memory. Right? It didn't have 1% of that memory. And here you are 4 years later saying there's not enough memory in your laptop or phone still. So no, there will never be enough memory, especially as new technology and services are being offered. And there will never be enough high speed, whatever. It won't be enough high speed internet. There will always be faster. So the same thing when it comes to blockchains being bloated, they will always need to scale. They'll always need to scale no matter how great, how fast. You'll eventually need to scale it again. Why? Because we're talking about global technology, globalized blockchains. Like you will have to scale them all the time. So I don't think it'll be too bloated. I think it'll actually work out. But I didn't even mean to take so long on that. It's just hilarious to me how this has kind of been working out. And these are the things you just have to point out. It's like our government is really operating like a fucking gang. And at the same time, they get mad at gangsters in America. And it's like, you can't be mad for them doing what they've been taught. Like, you cannot be mad at this any longer. Like, culturally, we are in a shit storm, people, top to bottom. But that's a different story. All right, Telegram trading bots are hot, but don't trust them for custody. Security firms say, listen, I didn't even know this was like, I guess, still a thing. I don't know, but I just want to comment on this story. The headline, for the most part, is in the title. Long story short, there are still too many unknowns over how various Telegram trading bots store private keys, blockchain security firms told Cointelegraph. Okay, Telegraph has always, to me, been the degen side of the house for crypto, okay? I mean, degen, trade this, pick this, pump that, swap this to get X this, whatever. Like, it's degenerate. And I say that to say, like, I'm trying to think. Telegram trading bots, trusting them for crypto custody, or just trading bots in general on Telegram. I mean, to me, it's the same as, like, I don't know, having a doctor's appointment at the strip club. All right, like, I don't know, I, doctors at strip clubs are hot, but don't trust them for your shots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, Telegram is like the black market. It's Silk Road. It's the underground of undergrounds. Like, it literally goes down in Telegram. And now, don't get me wrong, I've done like regular decent business on Telegram too, like good business. So it's there, but the majority is just degen shit that's happening. And so I say that to say is like, look, you're talking about going to Silk Road, you're going to the black market, you go into a dark alley at 3 a.m. to trade some shit and to talk to people and figure out what's going on in the city. Don't wear your nicest clothes there. Don't bring all your valuables. Like, yeah, don't bring your valuables to a dark alley and say, well, I'm just going to leave them here for a minute, but I'll be right back. Like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. So to me, does Telegram have trading bots? Yes. Why? Because it's degenerate. They have everything and anything that could possibly make you some money in crypto. However, I would just, off the top of my head, not even like really anecdotally or even doing any due diligence, just strictly off the top of my head right now, I would tell you at least half of those bots are fakes and scams, just off the top. And that's probably being super generous. If I really were to do the research, I would go as far as say like 80 to 90% of these are fake and scams off the top of my head. Why? Because I've been around Telegram, right? I can't tell you that every alley is dangerous, but I can tell you I've been in enough alleys to know what alleys usually are comprised of. All right. It's going to be some weird shit going on, and it might be semi-dangerous in most alleys. And for that reason, I'm not going to go through alleys. I just don't go through alleys usually. Okay. I'm not saying anything's wrong with them. Not all alleys are the same. I'm sure this one's a trusted alley. It's a shortcut. Everyone goes through it. You can make a ton of money. Okay. I get it. I'm just letting you know Telegram in general is a bunch of different alleys. All right. Great to be sourced for information, right? You're hanging out, you hear what's going on, you see what trades are happening, you see where the degen shit is happening at. But just don't get it twisted. It is still a dark alley and it's still degenerate shit going on. So if you're using these trading bots, cool. Use them, ghost trade them, or put low amounts of capital in it just to see how it works and duplicate it in your own wallets or in your own exchanges. But I would not actually use that Telegram trading bot itself and keep all my capital on there. Like, you are about to get honeypotted. Like, yes, it's going to work for 20 bucks. It's going to work for $100. Hell, some of the more sophisticated ones might even work up to $1,000 to $2,000. Like, this thing is real, man. I got 3,500. I know it works. The moment that friend or family member, whoever else comes in with that 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K, oh, now it's time to dance. Now it's time to have a little fun. So with that being said, yeah, it says here, trading bots have existed for years, but they've recently gained attention as crypto markets gain, and associated bot tokens have gained in price. Blockchain security firm CertTech has told Cointelegraph. Again, there's many ways to make your bot look good. You can wait till a bull run. You can switch your bot to certain tokens. Let's say you hear about XRP, that's coming down the pike where the judge is going to rule for them. Then hey, you can hurry up and turn one of your bots into a Ripple bot and be like, boom, look what we've done with Ripple the last 6 weeks off our bot. Most people aren't going to do the due diligence to say, well, were these natural pumps? Were these natural cycles? Like, what exactly did the bot do that a human couldn't do? What was the difference? Like, people aren't going to go into detail on that. So again, just make sure you're being careful with these Telegram bots. It does say the combined market cap of Telegram bot tokens is nearing $250 million, way too high for me. The largest of the pack is Unibot. Other popular bots include Bot and Miser. So again, make sure you check these out as well. Someone asked here, are Telegram bot tokens the new or the next crypto meta in the coming 1 or 2 months. I will say that if the market pumps, if we have any types of bull cycle, then yes, they will be the new meta if we have a bull cycle. If not, I would say no, not until we actually have that cycle. But again, it's another place to draw money into. And what you have to remember is that the scammers, the sophisticated ones, at this point, there are people who've been scamming in this space who are like millionaires, so they have the resources to really do it. You have to remember they're seeing these articles and stories too, and they're about to put their plans to work on some of these tokens also. So again, be careful with it. Certic says, however, they warn many Telegram bots create crypto wallets for users, with only some actually providing the private key, which means that they would have access to the keys to your wallet. So again, be careful with that. If you want to take a peek at that, that's on Cointelegraph. But again, that's Telegram bots. Didn't even know people were leaving their capital in there. But be careful. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. All right. What do we have as far as the comments? Let's see. What was the market watch that Hexicans love? I'm not sure, but where are? Hey, yeah, let's get some Hexicans to call in. Haven't had any Hexicans call in for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and load up this coin market cap and put Hex on here just in case one of you call in. Would love to hear from the Hexican crowd. Oh man, you guys took another dip. Oh man, I am gonna show this. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. The future, and this is an example of what we really just meant when it came to Hex. And you remember this chart? We showed you this chart. It's the same chart you see with everything else. The biggest issue I had with Hex is that you all who are Hexicans, who are riding it hard, like literally ready to start fights over a crypto token, which is hilarious to me. You all were saying like this is the future. Like that was my only issue. That's my issue with most shit coins that you say. People say it's the future. And it's like, listen, you can have a good run. You can make money. We get it. We're not saying any of these things. The reason why I'm going hard for Bitcoin is because I believe it actually is the future. The tech works. It's been working. Like, forget the price. No one is saying 1 hex equals 1 hex. People are saying 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin for various reasons. But like, that has been the difference. I have actually looked at Bitcoin and said, I see this as being the future, reserve currency being used, different applications. I've used it when I was like, again, overseas and stuff. It actually worked for me in the way I needed it to work, for me to move my capital, for me to have capital. When my debit card shut down, my bank froze, this or whatever, not because of anything nefarious, but because I'm bouncing around from country to country, Bitcoin came through clutch for me. Like, that is why I ride for Bitcoin. I can't say that for these other tokens, people. I can't. Even just looking off the strength of the algorithms or the blockchains or the back-end code is like, what are you doing so different? And for me, Hex is another one that was not doing anything that different. And if you remember, one of the sponsored posts, which I even told, I spoke about the next day after we did them, it literally was a fork of like Hex or something. They did a bigger, better Hex according to them. So it's just like, is not that special. I don't know, but hey, feel free to call in. I would love to hear somebody tell me. No, we're not going to do no chat talk about post chain, no chat talk about Hex, nothing that. Call in. The link is there. Call in. Robert saying Hex was a brilliant Ponzi and made millionaires out of the first people who got in. I agree. If you're going to look at it like that, same with BitConnect. Though BitConnect was a brilliant Ponzi as well. The first, I mean, if you remember Trey, who was in BitConnect in Miami, the other guy, I forgot who was in Miami, Bitcoin Trey, another Miami guy, like Trey was driving around in his car, like a Pinto. He had the Pinto going. The gas is coughing up in the back and everything. He went from that to penthouse suites with BitConnect. So I get it. But again, that's why we have to differentiate the BitConnects of the world and the Bitcoins of the world. We have to make sure the narratives don't take out where it's like Dogecoin to $1. Dogecoin is the future, which some people believe Dogecoin is the future over actual Bitcoin. Like, that is where we have to start making these differentiate, because if not, I mean, this market is fucked, which it already is kind of. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, the Ethereum Hex is dead. You have to look at the post Hex down, but now, oh man, so they just moved. Okay, so he moved. All right. So the game, ta-da, we got a new thing. I get it. So Hex is dead. Now we have, hold on. Now we have post-Hex. Okay, I get it. That was a smart play. Yeah, I mean, any Hexicans, feel free to call in. Feel free to go. Somebody hit these folks up on Twitter. They was popping all that hot shit, and now they gone. Let's see. I'm trying to see what other comments that we have really quick. Goodness said trading bots will get you wrecked. Yeah, they actually will if you don't know what you're doing with them as well. Let's see. ETF delayed for what reason? The SEC has all of Wall Street at its door. Just a matter of time. I still think like it's not ready. It's not ready, but we'll see. Let's see what else we had. ARC ETF was officially delayed by the SEC. Oh, I bet Kathy's pissed. Yeah, you know, hers was going to be for anybody who's before BlackRock or Invesco is getting delayed for sure. They're not going to go before it. Let's see. They'll always have scalable issues, King. I disagree. Okay, all right. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything else. Okay, goodness said, aren't all frivolous blockchains an attack to Bitcoin? So the only reason I say no to that, I'm with you. I used to say yes. I used to be like anything that isn't Bitcoin or Bitcoin superior type, then it is an attack. Here's why I'll say no, because again, we had to start looking at it from a different perspective. It's going to happen regardless, right? I mean, it's 23,000 now. It's going to happen. Not saying it's 23,000 blockchain specific, but there are 23,000 projects or tokens, which if they were actually done correctly, you would assume are 23,000 blockchains, but that's not true. But let's just say whatever, it's 15,000 blockchains, whatever. Like it's happened already, right? So we can't keep throwing the vinegar out there. You're attacking Bitcoin, you're shitcoin. Blah, blah, blah. We can't keep doing that. Why? Because people are going to tune off and out of Bitcoin, which is a superior product, which they should be learning about. So that's why I started saying those base hits to a home run. The home run is Bitcoin. The base hit is anything that gets you close to Bitcoin. Fine. We're going to do a stable coin this. You're passing a bill about crypto this. We're doing this blockchain. We're doing this CBDC, like whatever. While I do not agree with it, and I do think that is going, while I do think it's antithesis almost of Bitcoin, I do think it brings us closer to people actually adopting Bitcoin. So I call those base hits. So no, I'm not going to say all the blockchains are, all frivolous blockchains are attack on Bitcoin. Yes, they are, but no, they're not. Why? Because they're bringing people closer to it. So, and I know what you mean, because I mentioned that, hey, we can have multiple blockchains for different parts of government. I stand with that. And the reason why is because when you're talking about something, when it comes to, say, national debt, paying government workers, paying politicians, paying regulators, looking at regulators' budgets, all of that stuff should be put on the Bitcoin blockchain to me. When we're talking about the American taxpayer, the American taxpaying dollar, that should be on the Bitcoin blockchain. If it's talking about city, local, state, federal, blockchain. Where I think where we could put it on other blockchains for, again, things that aren't as serious, I don't know off the top of my head. And there's environmentalists in California everywhere, right? They're tracking different birds and stuff in different areas that military operates. That could be something that we put on a different blockchain. Is this many birds in this area? This is what military spending has been doing. This is how it works, blah, blah, blah. We could do that on an entirely different blockchain. We don't need to do that on Bitcoin's blockchain. And if one of those blockchains were semi-frivolous, where they had holes in them and they were exploited, then the worst case scenario, we've exploited and messed, jacked up how many birds are in this area and what this military funding and the exercises are doing to these birds, right? I know that would offend some people, but it would not destroy the whole mechanism. It wouldn't take down the whole government and country, right? That's something we could either fix on that little frivolous blockchain, or we could just move it over to the next blockchain, right? Wouldn't be that big of a deal. Whereas where politicians and regulators are spending their money and getting their money from, now that's something we need to have 100% uptime and accountability for it. Like that's something that is worth bloating the blockchain with. So that's what I kind of mean by separating those and putting them on different blockchains. There are some still, again, not perfect, but there's some decent other ones out there that are trying to do whatever promises that project made. So, and then worst case scenario, you all are forgetting, worst case scenario, you could actually just fork off Bitcoin's blockchain as it stands now. And technically, we could do 300 different forks and just read like Bitcoin, like the same way we have Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV. We can have Bitcoin politicians, Bitcoin regulators, Bitcoin California, Bitcoin Texas, Bitcoin New York, Bitcoin whatever. Like we can literally fork it off that way and keep them all on a working blockchain and still monitor it the same way. So this is what I mean by like, let's not get lazy, which that's what our government's doing. Our government gets lazy and behaves like a gang. They're just like, the lazy thing is to use documents from the 1940s for this new digital revolution almost 100 years later, 80 years later, whatever. That's being lazy. For them being lazy is to say for every new innovative thing, we must have consumer protection. We need to protect people, but who or why? Doesn't matter. We just need to protect. Like that's the laziest way, the lazy way of doing things. I say let's not look at these things from lazy approaches. I'm telling you, people, there's almost a solution for like damn near every problem and issue out there. There's a solution for almost all of it. There's 7 point something billion humans on this planet. I'm telling you, there is a solution. It's all about if we're willing to work toward that solution. But there's a solution for almost everything out there. I'm telling you, seriously. All right, let's see. SEC. I mean, this is something we kind of saw coming. It's official. SEC announces $24 million settlement for case against Bittrex and his former CEO. There you go. I mean, can't see I didn't see this coming. Again, the most frustrating part about these things is that starting at the same time as some of these companies in 2016, I made a decision to not do illegal things because I don't want to go to jail. I mean, plain and simple. I was like, I'm not going to do illegal shit. Morally, it was not morally wrong, but things that the government has not written. I mean, again, we're still working out this gray line in crypto. I was just like, I'm not going to do X, Y, Z because the legal guidance I was getting, it was super illegal. Federal didn't like this or that. They don't like this. But it literally was every new thing you try to do in crypto. They're like, well, no, that's legal. Well, no, that's legal. That. And I made a decision, well, I'll just try to figure this thing out going through the right way. Little did I know, though, again, I like to bring this up because, not necessarily going back, but how I operate moving forward. I know now that, hey, do the illegal shit. Nothing in your life has changed, King. You had to skirt it before. If you got to skirt it again, skirt it. Do the illegal shit. It's not morally wrong. It is legally wrong to a group that's that's acting in an illegal manner. I'm talking about the gang itself. I mean, hell, a lot of things used to be illegal, but I've told myself to do the illegal shit, stack that money, and just be ready to pay the fine because essentially that's all our government has done and said on many occasions, and this is just showing it again. They're saying, hey, Bittrex, you guys didn't really do anything wrong. You didn't do anything morally wrong. We're not going to lock you up. You just didn't pay the man. You literally just didn't pay the gang, and you needed to pay. So to me, this is showing that once again that all these companies and the government saying all these criminals and all this is just about money. They literally just want as much money from the crypto sector as they can possibly get without any red flags being turned on to them that they're actually corrupt individuals. But again, the U.S. regulator filed a complaint in April claiming Bittrex and William Shahara operated an unregistered exchange, also separately charging Bittrex Global. Another interesting thing is that this $24 million is a drop in the bucket when you look at they've been operating since 2016. So they had a 6-year run uninterrupted for the most part, and they just need $24 million to settle. And again, this is where I say this should be on the blockchain. So we're giving $24 million to the SEC. Where does that money go? How does this work? Like, I really want to trace this money from inception to the end. I know it's not possible right now, but this is what Bitcoin's blockchain will allow us to do. But again, the SEC is still on its terror, announced an agreement with crypto trading platform Bittrex and co-founder and former CEO William Shahara for operating an unregistered exchange. If anything, you can get him more than that to me because this guy, was fucking working a full-time job and operating Bittrex at the same time. One of the reasons why their negligence allowed us to get a freaking $25,000 to $30,000 hack from Bittrex through negligence. You reach out to them, you blah, blah, blah. You tell them this is on a Friday. You hear back on Monday, and they're like, all right, we're working on it. It's like, bro, you just took the weekend off? You in an exchange, and you took the weekend off. In the August 10th notice, SEC said Bittrex and Bittrex Global agreed to pay $14.4 million in disgorgement, the repayment of ill-gotten gains, $4 million in prejudgment interest. Damn, you get interest, and $5.6 million in civil penalties to settle the legal dispute with the federal regulator. The agreement is still subject to court approval. For years, Bittrex worked with token issuers to scrub their online statements of any indica that they were investment contracts on the effort to evade the federal security laws. So again, you're saying they did all they're scrubbing shit and they super illegal, but not illegal enough for jail. This is where to me we have to stop. You can't say they did $24 million of illegal activities, but there's no jail. Make up your mind. Was this shit wrong or not wrong? If it's not wrong, I feel like you really shouldn't be fining them anything. If they are wrong, especially to this extent, where they're scrubbing and evading the federales, then why weren't we talking prison time? Like, what's going on? Oh, I forgot. It's the gang. You just gotta pay them. Like, this is crazy. Like, even their statement is hilarious. Today's settlement makes it clear you cannot escape liability by simply changing labels or altering descriptions, because what matters is the economic realities of those offerings. You actually can escape liability. Just make enough money to pay them and to pay yourself, and you can actually escape liability. That is what they're doing. Like, if you're allowed to keep 97% of your money and you have to pay a 3% fine, like, I put it like this. Let's make it like super simple. You're drinking and driving 150 miles per hour on the roads for the next month. You're drinking, you're drunk as shit, you're smoking, and you're driving 150 miles per hour. You're a courier, right? You're dropping shit off, you're picking shit up. You done made $100,000, and then finally you get stopped for going 150, DUI, reckless drive, and all this other stuff, and you're fined essentially $10,000, right? You get a $10,000 fine, court fees, everything. You're drinking, reckless driving, but you don't face any jail time. So you've been doing this for months. You made 150K, and you finally got caught once. You pay off $10,000. Would you stop? No, fuck it. I'm going to 200 miles per hour next time. Like, we're going to go faster. So this is the same to me. It's like, no, you actually are able to escape liability. You just need to go fast enough and go far enough and have enough resources to pay the gang when they come see you, because they will come see you. But again, this is hilarious to me. I mean, I kind of already knew this was going to happen. And it's even more hilarious. They're only naming Bill Shahara William. If anything, I will give it to Shahara. At least he was a soldier for his homies, because it actually should have been 4. If I remember correctly, when they started, there was 4 co-founders on it. I got the other 3 names in my notes still. I mean, I got tons of notes on them. I mean, I lost a shit ton of money to these guys, but it was 3 other names. So it was 4 founders, and all of them have full-time jobs along the likes. One was at Google. One was that they were all like in cyber or tech companies up in Silicon Valley for the most part. So I will say at least Bill's a trooper for his homies to say, hey, I'll take this one, y'all. I'll take this one. Y'all good. And that's what looks like what happened. If his boys are really his boys, they all should probably kicked in $6 million a pop. You know, everybody throwing their $6 million, all 4 of them, you know, walked away in the sunlight. So a good win for Bittrex. Way to get off of it. And they've been doing grimy shit like this for forever. So it is what it is. Let's see what else we have going on. STX. Which one is STX? Not sure what that is. Let's see. But feel free to call in and let us know. All right. Last not least. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's a new token. That's a token you're talking about. Okay, I thought it was something I mentioned. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all gotta let me know. You gotta let me know. Put it up there. All right. Last but not least, no fucking way. Joe Rogan and Post Malone slam government CBDCs. So I guess Post Malone was on Joe Rogan. They were talking about CBDCs, all that good stuff. And Joe Rogan was shocked to hear it. And he called it a game over scenario for American citizens. In the August 8th episode of the widely watched podcast Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and rapper Post Malone turned the topics surrounding U.S. financial system, pausing to focus on the potential abuses of power that could come with CBDCs in the United States. It looks like when Joe Rogan was talking about CBDCs, he says, no fucking way, no way. That's what I think. I think that's checkmate. That's game over. He spelled out a scenario where a tyrannical government could tie the flow of a CBDC to one social credit score, saying that citizens could easily be cut off from their finances for breaking the rules. If they somehow decide, somehow or another that you need some social credit system, and it's for the benefit of society, and they outline that, they can track your behavior and your tweets and all your things. They just decided you fucked up and the rules are the rules, he said. That's what we've been saying. That's why we've been saying Bitcoin is so important, because it's that simple. It's literally, I mean, we don't even need a social credit system anymore. We already have it, whether you know it or not. And it's being based on local, federal, and state authorities, as well as huge private companies. Literally, if a certain politician or regulator doesn't like your group or what you stand for, or if you become popular enough. I mean, look at some of the most polarizing people as of now. You talk the Donald Trumps, you talk the Bidens, you talk the Tates of the world, you talk those 3 people off the top of my head. If humans had the ability to block their money from those 3 humans, people would try to do it. I disagree with that no matter what side of the fence you're on. Whether you love or hate Biden, whether you love or hate Trump, whether you love or hate Tate. If people aren't actively talking about genocide or fucking raping and killing children and stuff, you are not allowed to say what they can do with their value or even if they're allowed to have value. This is the psychotic nature of humans to me. But I agree that is happening, has already been happening. We see it with people bank accounts getting frozen. So yes, it will go even further if we have CBDCs where the government is going to say, no, we're just going to stop all your finances literally with a flick of a switch.
So how do you feel about the government's digital currency that they're working on?
No fucking way. No way. That's what I think. I think that's checkmate. That's game over.
And by the way, like, to me, it's always hilarious to see like these two people, Post Malone and Joe Rogan. At least they're using it on this platform, but it's like they both have platforms and they sprinkle it. Like, you know what I mean? This is like a off the cuff talking point more than it is them actively being a part of the community saying, hey, this is about to be a problem. How do we fix it? So to me, it's kind of hilarious too, because it's like really it's just two celebrities who just need some shit to talk about right now. But it's like, are you actively doing anything?
That is fucking checkmate.
Because if they apply that to a social credit score, if they decide somehow or another that you need some social credit score system and it's for the benefit of society, and they outline that they can, you know, track your behavior and your tweets and all your things, and you get a score. And if
already doing that, they just haven't to the parents yet.
Right.
Everything is already imprinted. Everything is already tracked. Everything is already there.
To be able to strip you of your money and to be able to lock you down. And then,
so they kind of go into detail about that. But again, I don't know. I'm glad that, you know, you could say Joe Rogan and Post Malone both did their job as far as spreading that light on it, because again, I think it said Joe Rogan gets like 11 million podcast listeners, so that's huge. But on the flip side, I would just like to say, like, you know, Joe Rogan, you worth about 100 mil plus, homie. Like, you have the resources and the notoriety to shine this light the way it should be shined, like to actually do something about this one. So to me, it's like, all right, don't just do the whole this is an off the cuff talking remark. It's like, no. You are a part of the 1% officially. Like, you can actually change and shift some shit. You can spread light on some of these people in Congress, in these regulatory positions, who are just mad when it comes to how they're operating in the crypto space. So we will see what will happen. Let's see. Yep, Dub proves that they can freeze your accounts now. I agree, and they do it as well. Todd says CBDC reparations. Who would get them? Old crypto companies or people? If anything, some of the old ones need to have them. Let's see. What else do we have? Last few comments before we call it a day. Bitcoin is bigger than him. He doesn't get it. That's my point. I didn't want to be mean. Like, I'm not trying to be mean because the fact that he talked about it on his podcast says a lot in general, but that is an issue. Is like, yeah, he doesn't get it. He really doesn't get it. Like, if Joe Rogan really got Bitcoin, unless, here's the flip side for everybody we say don't get it, unless they actually do get it. Like, really get it. They get it so much, you're like, I'm not talking about this shit, bro. Bitcoin, what Bitcoin? You guys use that stuff? No, I've never heard of it. I mean, for me, I told you, I don't have any Bitcoin, period. So it's just like, I get it. I do get it. I get it. So I'm not mad at it. So you never know. That's the other thing. It's like, hey, I don't got to tell you how I really feel and what I really got going on in my home. Joe Rogan might have $50 million worth of Bitcoin, right? And he every day is, that's crazy. That's interesting. So was it a blockchain? You never know. So I'm not mad at him. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. I had to take that into account. You might mess around, meet these people one-on-one. Like, bro, yes, of course, I'm not a dummy. You think I'm going to tell the world, though? How, like, that is dumb. So I'm not mad at him. You never know. All right, let's see. Last few comments. You guys are funny talking about Post Malone. Leave Posty alone, man. CBDC equals Demolition Man money. Oh, that was that movie. Go check out Demolition Man. I agree. I already know what you mean. John Spartan, you've been fined 1 credit. Holy shit, that is Demolition Man money. Hey, go check out Demolition Man, folks. Wesley Snipes. And what's the other buddy name? I can't think of his name. Sylvester Stallone. I agree. That is Demolition. Let's see. How are they going to have credit scores and George W. Bush still walks free? Shouldn't that guy be in debt to all mankind after his score to society? Kaiser, that's why it was funny to me when they're talking about Biden, Trump, and everything else. It's like, yo, we got to retroactively go back to George. People, he put us into a war. We lost human life and tons of money, and there were no weapons of mass destruction. A guy lied. Our president lied to start a war And as Americans, we were just like, oh, okay. So anyway, tomorrow's Wednesday, and it's like, come on, folks, this is crazy. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. I see you all are going back and forth in the chat. Good to see good dialogue. It's a great chat today. Great show. Hopefully we get some people to call in next week. Don't be scared. Call in and pump your shit coin. Hit up Twitter, get them Hexkins in the house to see what's happening there. Other than that, that is the show for today, folks. We got a lot of good stuff coming to you next week as well. Make sure you check out some of these other ancillary shows on the channel. Guys and gals have been doing a great job, so make sure you check them out. Smash that like and share, and we